Hey guys, hope your morning's going well. I wanted to take some time today to show you how we're going to add fractions with unlike denominators. So one of the things that we need to make sure that we know how to do is how to create those common denominators. And I always use the vocabulary video because I really like the method that they use called circles and arrows. So we're going to take a few minutes right now. I'm going to play the video for you, and then we'll go through some examples together using that same method from vocabulary.
Vocabulary. Let's add these fractions up. Liquid. The numerator is the number on top. Denominator is down, down, low. When you add fractions, you need to stop. Make sure the denominators are good to go. We need to make the denominators the same. Otherwise, adding them would be insane. So we multiply each fraction top and bottom by the denominator of its buddy. We do it to the top and the bottom, so the value doesn't change. Yeah, you got them. Yeah, we do that to both of these guys. Multiply by the bottom of the buddy, alright? Our denominators are now the same. And when we add fractions, they don't change. Add numerators like 10 plus 16, but keep the denominator the same thing. Multiply the bottom and the top by the opposite denominator. Keep the bottom the same, but add the top. We ain't steady adding if you ready or not. Multiply the bottom and the top by the opposite denominator. Keep the bottom the same, but add the top. We ain't steady adding if you ready or not. Let's try it on, see if it fits. Let's add 1/4 and 2/5. First we take the 5 and multiply both the top and the bottom on the other side. We get 5 over 20, that's equal to 1/4. Yeah, you get me. Then we take the 4 from before, multiply the other side, yeah, for sure. We get 8 over 20, that's still equal to 2/5, but get ready. Now we keep the 20 the same, but we add 8 and 5, okay? 13 over 20, yeah, that's the truth. Now we make sure that it's reduced and simplified, so our fraction is nice. We're adding fractions and we're doing it right. Multiply the bottom and the top by the opposite denominator. Keep the bottom the same, but add the top. We ain't steady adding if you ready or not. Multiply the bottom and the top by the opposite denominator. Keep the bottom the same, but add the top. We ain't steady adding if you ready or not. And when you're subtracting, it's the same thing. Just follow all the steps, but subtract the numerators. You got it? Yeah, you got it.
All right, so I want to take a few minutes to look at that strategy a little bit more closely. And I figured the best way for us to do that is to go through some practice examples together. All right, so we're going to take the one that they actually introduced in the video, which was 1/4 plus 2/5. All right, so we can already see down here that the denominators are not the same. So we need to make sure that we create common denominators. So let's try to think back to what happened in the vocabulary. All right, so we know that the strategy is called circles and arrows. And so we're going to use those things just to kind of stay on track with how to work through these types of problems. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is circle this 5, and I'm going to draw 2 arrows, one to the numerator and one to the denominator on the opposite side. And we saw in the video that we need to multiply those two. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing with this first denominator. So I drew my circle. I'm going to draw my arrows over to the opposite side, just like we did. And we know 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 5, it has to be 20 because we want our denominators to match up here, which now they do. All right, and then I'm going to come back down here. I want to make sure I put my addition symbol back in, and then we're going to add. So we know that across the top, the numerators, 5 plus 8 is 13, and we don't ever add the denominators. So it's going to stay 20. And that's our answer, 13/20. All right, but I do want to go through one more because I know that this can be challenging, and I want to make sure that we know the strategy to use. So let's say that we have 2/3 plus 1/4. All right, now, if you think about this, we know our new denominator is going to be 12 because we know we're going to end up multiplying those two to get a common denominator. But I still want to go through and use the strategy that we just talked about, just so we can kind of get a little bit more practice. So I'm going to circle the 4, draw an arrow over to the opposite side, and we know we're going to multiply. So 4 times 2 we know is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. And then again, I'm going to do the same thing going in the opposite direction. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 we know has to be 12. So now again, we see we have our common denominators here, and we can add just like we did on the first problem. So we know 8 plus 3 is 11. Do we ever add the denominators when they're common? No. So we know that this 12 is going to be our new denominator for our answer. Okay, so I know that this can be challenging. This is usually one of the things in 5th grade that becomes a little bit more complex, but I think with practice and with using this strategy, it's going to be really helpful to be able to create those common denominators that we need. When we get to subtraction, it's going to be the same thing, but I'll create another video and work with you guys on Google Meet to make sure that we understand it. And I think that's a bit about it for now. So obviously, if you have any more questions on this, reach out to us on Google Hangouts. We're also going to spend some time on our Google Meet reviewing this concept. Have a great day, guys.